I was finally able to get a regular cover for X Timelines, so now I got the whole set. What's up, guys? Penguin CJP here, back with another Mega Man Timelines review. Other things are coming, I promise. But Mega Man Zero Timelines is here. So, this is a very important book, not only because we are finally getting out of the popular Mega Man series from Classic and X to Zero, which I think only had the Mega Man Zero manga, which was a deviation from the source material, I'll just say that. But this one was written by Ian Flynn. For those who don't know, Ian Flynn was the main writer of the Archie Mega Man comics, as well as the Sonic Archie comics for, well, the later years, and Sonic IDW, which I have been reading and enjoying. But how does he do with Mega Man Zero? Now, before we get into that, I just have to say, I love these covers so much. Both of these were created by Hanzo Steinbach, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Hanzo, if you're watching, I do apologize if I mispronounced your name. But these look gorgeous. I love the way that he's able to capture the Mega Man Zero art style here. Looks incredibly nice. We get to see the 4 Guardians, as well as a couple bosses from the first game, including Copy X. And this one is my absolute favorite. This is my favorite Timelines cover we have seen so far. Just, it looks so cool. Just the X and Zero from the X era, and then Zero fighting Copy X, and it looks so perfect. Okay. Gotta calm down. These covers are great, but what about the story that's actually in them? So, for those who aren't aware yet, this comic is very different from the rest of Timelines so far. It is not an adaptation. It is not a retelling. This is an in-canon, or, well, debatable if it's actually canon, but it's meant to be in-canon midquel between Mega Man Zero 1 and Zero 2, taking place during the 1-year time skip, when Zero was kind of just in the wasteland, destroying as many of the Neo-Arcadian bots as he could find. Blaster fire, but not nearby. Zero sees a caravan of ex-Neo-Arcadian Reploids getting attacked, and so he jumps in and saves them. But during the fight, he gets one of his knee joints damaged, so he gets taken back to their little outpost where we get to see a bunch of various Reploids, and he does get repaired. We do see some neat details, like how they don't necessarily have a high opinion of the Resistance, even though they do at the very least respect what the Resistance are trying to do. They feel like they're practically doing suicide. One of the members, the one who actually fixes Zero's knee, was actually a member of the Resistance, but we don't know what happened, but half of his face is blown off, so I imagine he didn't have a very good time. Then we cut over to what is happening currently at Neo Arcadia.
We are facing a crisis and our leadership has vanished!
Explain yourself, Sage Harpoonia! First, may I remind the venerated members of the Central Council that they exist to govern the daily affairs of the citizens. I answer to Master X and Master X alone, as do you all. Secondly, while the recent unrest is troubling, it is far from a crisis.
A lone terrorist stormed the shrine and holy tower. We nearly lost our way of life!
That is an exaggeration. The Resistance did cause some damage, but to believe the rumors that one attacker could overpower me and the other 4 Guardians is ridiculous, bordering on insulting.
Now that you mention it, Master X's elite may be called the 4 Guardians, but only 3 of you have been seen recently. Where is Hidden Phantom?
Well, as his name implies...
Guardian Harpoonia!
My apologies. He is in deep cover investigating the recent attacks. He may not be seen again for some time.
Who cares about the Guardians? Where is Master X? We need his loving guidance.
He is taking this breach in security very seriously. Therefore, he is personally overseeing the investigation alongside Hidden Phantom. I am Master X's de facto leader of the Four Guardians. In his absence, I have been elected to lead in his stead. This is his will and his design. These details must be kept in the strictest confidence to deny our enemy any advantage, and to keep the people of Neo Arcadia feeling calm and secure. Our goal, as it has always been, is peace. Soon, in the secret mausoleum, the Central Council has been appeased. No one besides us knows about the losses of Phantom or Master X.
You mean besides, Zero? I hate all this misdirection. That was Phantom's way, not mine.
And yet he gave his life in battle while you're still standing. Sounds to me like you switched roles.
Say that again.
Which part did you not get?
Stop it. We were made in Master X's image to fight for everlasting peace. We can't do that by fighting each other.
Maybe we should. Maybe we've gotten complacent and need to re-establish the pecking order.
Careful, Fenrir. Insubordination is a sign of going maverick. Before they can bicker anymore, Fairy Leviathan sees that some of their troops have been taken out, which the trio know has to be because of Zero. Specifically because the outpost of Reploids they were going after shouldn't have the amount of firepower needed to take out their troops. Before they can go out and deal with Zero themselves, they get notified that Neo Arcadia is being attacked by the Resistance. So they go out and easily dispatch of them, but the issue is the fact that the Resistance believes that they can even do that at all. And we actually get to see what's going on within the Resistance base. Everything is coming together splendidly, Commander.
And ahead of schedule. That's entirely thanks to your leadership.
Oh, stop. I'm just trying to do my part.
You've gone above and beyond, El Piso. You've been invaluable since joining the Resistance.
Which is why I hope you'll reconsider the promotion.
I don't know, CL. Me? Commander? You've already led the Resistance so well, and everyone respects you so much.
And the same can be said for you. Having us both lead is redundant. If you take command, I'll be free to wholly devote myself to solving the energy crisis. Just imagine peace in our time.
It could come even faster if we finally toppled those monsters in Neo Arcadia.
Peace earned through slaughter is no peace at all.
Of course. It's your idealism that brought us this far, after all. El Piso then accepts his position as commander and orders CL off so that she can study the energy crisis. He is then informed that the troops he sent to Neo Arcadia had all been taken out, which he essentially hand waves away and says that they are going to use this to boost the morale of the soldiers and get more people on their side, with CL wondering what Zero is up to now. We cut back to the Reploid outpost where the Neo-Arcadian soldiers are coming back to try to finish them off. They are ready, or at least almost ready, to leave. However, they still need about 15 minutes to actually get going, which Zero says he will stay back and fend them off so that they can go. Before he leaves, they give him his iconic cloak from the Mega Man Zero 2 intro, and he goes out and he continues fighting off the Mavericks, ending this comic. So I'm just going to be blunt. I think this is the best story out of all of the Timelines comics so far. Now, it's not really fair, I suppose. I mean, the Free Comic Book Day was just a fun little story. It wasn't supposed to be anything big or grand. The Classic Timelines issue, while I thought the story was really decent, It was a pseudo adaptation that didn't get really finished and might not ever get finished, so that is unfortunate. And X Timelines was a backdoor pilot for the actual Mega Man X comic line coming out later this year. But this feels like a expansion of the Mega Man universe. The Zero timeline does get something out of this. First of all, the fact that there are Reploids outside of Neo Arcadia who don't want to listen to them, who don't want to be in the Resistance. They don't necessarily like the Resistance either. Again, they understand what the Resistance is fighting for. They just don't think that it's really possible to stop Neo Arcadia. But the fact that they exist is really neat and interesting, because in the Zero games, you don't see any other Reploids. They're either working for Neo Arcadia, or they're in the Resistance. You don't see any outside of that. The only other faction that you see, from my memory at least, is the humans from Zero 4. No Reploids. I don't know, there might have been some Reploids in there that I forgot about, but I don't believe so. I think that those are all humans in Zero 4. So, yeah, this was the first time we actually got to see that, which is neat. And, like, all of the inner political stuff with the 4 Guardians, or I guess the 3 Guardians now, was interesting. You know, how they had to cover up everything to make sure that the citizens wouldn't go into a panic. The fact that their entire lives are crumbling around them. They have no clear leadership. They have no clear goal anymore. They're starting to fight amongst each other. Like, their scenes were my favorite in this book. But surprisingly, I also really liked the scene with El Piso. I'm just going to say, I don't like El Piso in Zero 2. I think El Piso, at least from just in the game itself, kind of sucks as a villain. I know there's, like, drama CDs and stuff that, like, flesh him out a bit more, and he has an interesting backstory, but, like, in the game itself, I really don't care about him whatsoever. I like his boss fight theme song. That's about it. This issue helped make him a bit more interesting to me. The fact that he kind of had the Resistance wrapped around his finger so that he could try to execute his extremist actions. Like, that is really cool and interesting. I just love this book. Now, I will say the weakest part about the story is, oddly enough, Zero's contribution. Which, I mean, to be fair, you can't really do too much with Zero in this time frame without, changing things. So I get it. I get why he wasn't really the big focus, but I just thought I'd bring it up. It's kind of funny that the Mega Man Zero issue barely had anything for Zero. He pretty much he saves some people and they give him his cloak. That's really his only contribution, but that's okay. That's all right. The fact that the rest of this story was so amazing, yeah, that brings it up here. Ian Flynn, you have not lost your touch. Though I will say some of the dialogue was a bit weird. Mainly one line a character says when Zero is basically trying to not act like he needs their help, was saying, like, hey, you don't need to tell us anything. We know you're a badass. It's like, I don't know. Did anyone else think that line was weird? I thought that line was weird. Like, anyone else who has read that, I don't know, it felt off. It felt like Mr. Ian Flynn here was a little too excited that he could finally use swear words in one of these comics. I mean, I don't know everything he's worked on, but the things I have read that he has worked on are usually, like, child friendly, so they don't have any curse words. So yeah, I don't know, it felt like he was kind of a little too excited about that. But that's really it for the story. I think it's incredible. Easily the best Timelines issues in terms of that. now we get to the art. So, you've already seen some of it within my story preview, which is a new thing that I want to try to do. So tell me if you like that with like the little dramatic voiceovers. But so the art is generally good, but okay, let me show some of this here, just like especially that. So okay, yeah, they bring the blood in, you know, that's fine. My problem is, doesn't that kind of look wimpy? That slash, you know, Leviathan blocking these attacks, even here near the end of the book, this slash from Zero, it just looks, I don't know, kind of bland and just kind of, it doesn't have much impact to me. Like, it makes a lot of the action shots just kind of feel like they don't really matter that much. Like, the other Timelines comics have really good impact shots for, like, all their action scenes. But this one, if it didn't have an explosion in it, it didn't really feel that powerful. It wasn't drawn to make you feel like it was a powerful attack. And that, you know, the fighting wasn't the main focus of this issue. So, you know, that's not necessarily a terrible thing, but like, you want to show the Guardians being cool, but that scene just kind of made them look kind of wimpy. Like, I mean, obviously they killed all those Resistance guys, but like, I don't know, they kind of looked wimpy too, so it does bring the book down. I got to say it does. I don't want to be that guy, but, you know, Hanzo is working on the actual X comic series here. I don't know if it's just going to be issue 1 or if he's going to be doing more than that. And, like, this shot looks good. Like, individual shots in this book look great. Like, this one here. You know, this shot looks epic. But the problem is that in motion, when trying to do actual action scenes, it just doesn't really flow that well. It doesn't make the scenes look very impactful. So it did take me out of the issue a bit when it went to the action scenes. I kind of just wanted them to go back to the actual interesting stuff. And I really hope Hanzo does something with that, improves a bit for the X actual ongoing series, because, there's going to be a lot more action in that, and I really hope that it doesn't have these kind of flat action scenes, because, that's not going to end too well. Again, I like the art. I think the actual art is great and looks good when it's not in the action scenes. It's just the action scenes that aren't that great. Also, one thing I forgot to mention in the previous reviews, because I honestly didn't catch it in X Timelines until other people were doing reviews and talking about it. This Mega Man, this Met that Mega Man helped out in his Timelines issue, Classic Timelines, has appeared in all these books. That's like the connecting thing for all of Timelines, is that. So that's cute. That's cool. I like how they each one will draw and incorporate that in some way. So yeah, the art itself looks great. Action scenes, not so much. So that is gonna dock some points on this one. I'm sorry. It's just how I feel. So, what do I think about Zero Timelines as a whole? I want to say this is the best one. I want to say that this is the best issue just for the story alone. It it does something. It does something for Mega Man fans, for fans of Mega Man Zero. It gives us something that we didn't have before. An interesting story that delves into the characters, but it's the art. It's the art, the action scenes specifically, that drag it down just a little bit. Again, I like this art style. There are lots of shots in this book that look really cool, but they just don't have the right impact for the action scenes, and there's multiple action scenes in this book, so it does drag it down a little bit. But if we are rating this on story alone, it's a 10 out of 10. Like, this is the most interesting Timelines issue, and it actually works as a standalone story. Like, if they do make a sequel to this, I'd be 100% cool with that. But if they don't, it works. It works as a standalone thing. Classic Timelines doesn't work as a standalone thing, because it literally has a to be continued at the end of it. X Timelines doesn't work as its own thing, because again, it was a backdoor pilot for the actual X comic series. But this works as its own individual comic, and I think it's all the better for it. So even though I have the problem with the action scenes, would I recommend this book? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I would recommend it. If you're able to get it, please do. Now, Mega Man ZX is one of my favorite Mega Man series. I love ZX and ZX Advent. Oh, Matt Moyland, do not let me down. Dax Gordine, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. I'm not going to judge. I have my thoughts on the cover, but I will wait until the actual issue is out. See you guys then.